I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice.
Do your own research.
Consult a professional investment advisor before making any investment decisions.
This show is for entertainment only. Faites vos propres recherches.
Here we are
in another episode
of the Simple Success Podcast.
And
this is financial life coaching from a happiness perspective.
Previously on Simple Success.
Church and endless delay. And strategic withdrawal can turn into abandoning something right before it pays off.
When you phrase it like that, it sounds like I've been sabotaging myself with better vocabulary, which I do not appreciate.
And now, just like with a previously on thing on TV, we take you directly to this week's episode. Anything is possible.
Welcome to episode 295 of our Simple Success Podcast.
Yeah, and today we're stepping into chapters 7 and 8 of the book, What Would Napoleon Hill Do?, where we raise the stakes on everything we've talked about by focusing on influence and the power of environment.
Influence? That sounds suspicious. Like someone is about to sell me something I don't need, but will somehow convince me I do.
That's actually part of it, because Hill argues that persuasion and suggestion shape outcomes more than people realize, especially when repeated over time.
So my brain has been quietly accepting bad ideas just because they showed up often enough, which feels both insulting and accurate?
It's not just you, DT. Everyone is influenced by what they hear, see, and repeat, which is why environment matters so much.
My environment includes news, social media, and late-night impulse thinking. So that explains a lot about my decision-making qualities.
And Chapter 7 leans into the idea that your subconscious absorbs suggestions continually, whether they're helpful or harmful.
I was going to ask about that. My subconscious has basically been a sponge, soaking up nonsense, and now it's squeezing that nonsense into my financial choices.
That's one way to put it, and it's why intentional input becomes critical if you want different outcomes.
Intentional input? That sounds like I have to filter everything, which feels exhausting, but also necessary.
It is necessary, and it becomes easier when you realize that repeated exposure creates belief, and belief drives behavior over time. It's a circle, but not a vicious one. It's a very positive one.
I have definitely believed some questionable things just because I heard them enough, which is not a great admission to make publicly.
Yet that honesty is useful. You know the famous showman P.T. Barnum?
Yeah.
He once observed that in his experience, more people had lost out by believing too little than by believing too much.
I would like to unsubscribe my bad ideas, but I'm not sure if there's a button for that in real life.
Button? Yeah, I wish there was too. I don't think there is a button. Either way, that sound represents filtering out noise, which is something you can practice, even if it does feel unnatural at first.
And I like the idea of less noise, because my brain already feels crowded and not particularly productive.
So let's add Chapter 8 into this discussion.
Good call, Jessica, because in Chapter 8, we shift to the power of association, meaning the people around you influence your standards and expectations.
So if I hang around people who make questionable choices, I start thinking those choices are normal, which is not great news for my track record.
That's right, and it's wise to be careful. That's why Hill emphasizes choosing your circle carefully, because it either lifts you or quietly drags you down.
And I'm starting to suspect my circle might be a little too comfortable with mediocrity, including me, which is a very tough realization.
If the seal in your circle is broken or it's past its best by date, yeah, it's probably best not to consume it. But you have to recognize the impact and decide what kind of influence you want going forward.
Indeed. Circles may not be out of date.
Deciding again, huh? Because I'm noticing a theme where responsibility keeps showing up uninvited.
Responsibility tends to do that, especially when you're trying to improve something meaningful like your financial life.
I preferred when responsibility stayed quietly in the background, but it seems to be stepping into the spotlight now.
That spotlight is awareness. It's not there to embarrass you, but to show you what needs to change.
Still feels a little embarrassing, though. But I can't deny that I'm seeing patterns I ignored before.
Good, because once you see them, you can choose different influences and different inputs.
So I need to be more selective about what I listen to, watch, and even who I spend time with. That sounds like a lifestyle upgrade.
It is a lifestyle upgrade. Congratulations. It affects your thinking more than you might expect. Dogs do not write newspapers, you know.
Huh? All right. Okay, I'm realizing that my thinking hasn't been entirely my own, and that's both unsettling and strangely motivating.
Who does your thinking then? Do you outsource it?
I have to think about that, robot lady.
Yet that realization opens the door to intentional change, where you start feeding your mind better material.
Better material, yeah, that sounds like less doom scrolling and more useful information, which I know I should do but often avoid.
And avoiding it has costs. And those costs show up in your results whether you notice them or not.
My results, well, that hasn't been inconsistent at best. I'm connecting some dots that I probably should have connected earlier.
That's your understanding coming together, and it's a good sign, even if it feels uncomfortable.
Finally,
It does feel uncomfortable, but it also feels like I finally have something I can adjust instead of just guessing.
That's the shift from reacting to designing, which is where real progress begins.
I'm not fully confident yet, but I'm definitely more aware, and that feels like a step in the right direction.
It is. Awareness leads to better choices, and those better choices are going to lead to better outcomes over time. And as always, this is doubly true in investing.
I started this episode skeptical and a little defensive, and now I'm thinking about changing what I let into my head, which is unexpected.
And that can be a good kind of unexpected, especially when it points you towards something more effective, such as
Financial life coaching from a happiness perspective.
Even Jessica sounds calm about this, while I'm over here rethinking my inputs, my environment, and possibly my entire routine.
That's a strong place to start, DT. Hey, once you change what goes in, what comes out begins to change as well.
Build a circle of minds where strong ideas can dwell.
Share insight and vision, so strategies swell.
With charm and respect, let connections excel.
Work closely with others until goals are fun.
Let trust, skill, and goodness carry.
Break number 1. I'm not trying to make doubting Thomases out of y'all.
Yet you cannot tell a lie.
Hey, George Washington is nigh?
Obviously not.
Nor is it time for the rhyme.
But it is time for something.
It is?
Yes, it is.
It's time to learn.
Learn about what?
Why, DT, it's time to learn about a sponsor. You know, what they make, what they do.
Before we even get to act number 2?
Well, yes, indeed, my friend. As our editor knows.
This is the place where your message goes.
We can plug it right in
To the story we tell.
so that no one fast forwards.
Except from your well.
We can build it ourselves.
With approval from you.
Taking action will do it.
Not bragging, it's true.
Starting something instead. And taking action, as you just said.
Based on your beliefs.
Yeah, but still not just knowing, but also doing.
And as I've been saying about goals. No, sorry. Getting what you want without limiting the rights of others.
That's correct, Matthew. Or yucking their yum, as is said. But still, it has to be
Based on your beliefs.
Which include the idea of a mastermind group and a pleasing personality as a real financial advantage.
It is when it doesn't slip into being a networking cliche.
I hear mastermind group and immediately imagine awkward meetings where everyone pretends to be successful while secretly confused.
That's just a bad version of those things.
like those inner circle things.
They're good ones, where a real mastermind is in place, and people challenge each other and share ideas that actually move things forward.
Challenging each other sounds like polite arguments, and I already argue with myself daily for free.
And when other people see blind spots, you can't see your thinking gets sharper over time.
My blind spots have been doing a lot of heavy lifting lately, so outside help might not be the worst idea.
Which is why we listen to our Sally, because you need a clearer picture of how this actually works in practice.
A mastermind works best when each person brings a different strength so the group becomes smarter than any individual alone.
So I don't have to be the smartest person in the room, which is great because that has not been my experience so far.
But it can be. But hey, in fact, you shouldn't be the smartest person in the room because That means you're not learning anything new.
It ain't what you don't know that hurts you, it's what you do know that just isn't true.
The key is trust and openness because people need to feel comfortable sharing both wins and mistakes without judgment.
Sharing mistakes sounds terrifying, as I prefer to keep those hidden and quietly forget they happened.
That's why growth has been slow, though, because hiding mistakes prevents you from learning from them effectively.
Yes, a good group turns mistakes into lessons and lessons into better decisions moving forward.
That sounds productive, Sally, but also emotionally risky, which is, I'm not thrilled about that.
You don't have to be thrilled, DT, you just have to do it. That's the sound of a real mastermind forming, and it's less about comfort and more about progress.
I'm already imagining myself sitting there trying to look competent while taking mental notes.
And if you also contribute, your perspective matters, even if you don't realize it yet.
A pleasing personality helps here because people respond better when you're respectful, positive, and genuinely interested in others.
So I can't just show up with sarcasm and expect everyone to be impressed, which feels like a personal limitation?
That's right. You can keep the humor, but it needs to be paired with respect and curiosity if you want strong relationships.
People invest in people they like and trust, which means your personality directly impacts your financial opportunities.
That feels unfair.
I was hoping my brilliant ideas would be enough without the whole likable human requirement.
Those relationships create access, though, DT. I mean, ideas get attention, but relationships create access, which is where real opportunities often appear.
If you combine clear thinking with strong relationships, you multiply your chances of success significantly.
Multiply? That sounds good, because my current results feel more like division.
Well, that could be worse, because you have a very clear and obvious association with algebra.
I would very much like favorable math, preferably with fewer surprises and less regret.
Okay, here's the shift. You don't just work on your investments, you work on your connections as part of the strategy.
That sounds like more work, but also like something I've been ignoring, which might explain a few missed opportunities.
Start small by reaching out to one person this week, offering value instead of asking for something immediately.
Okay, Sally. Offering value first feels backward, because I usually start by asking for help and hoping for the best.
Which is why it hasn't worked consistently, as relationships are built on contribution before benefit. You've got to give something to people if you want them to give you something back.
I'm starting to see that my approach has been a bit one-sided, not in a good way.
And that's the beginning of a stronger connection. And it opens doors you didn't have access to before.
I like the sound of doors opening, especially if they lead to better financial outcomes and fewer mistakes.
And that'll happen since you're being intentional. It's not about being fake. It's how you show up and interact with others.
Intentional, yeah. That sounds like effort again, which is becoming a recurring theme in my life.
Effort directed the right way produces results, which is what we're aiming for here.
I started this conversation skeptical and slightly annoyed, as I said before, and now I'm thinking I might actually need people, which is uncomfortable to admit.
But that realization matters because it changes how you approach both investing and relationships going forward.
I'm not fully convinced yet, but I can see the logic, and that's more than I could do at the start.
So you'll build a circle of minds that's sharp in each part?
Yeah, we'll share insight and wisdom with trust of the heart.
Oh, with warmth and respect let connections impart.
A gracious approach makes opportunity smart.
Work closely with others in all that you do.
Strong bonds, clear thinking, and...
Break number 2.
We know a lot about you already, because we know ourselves. For example, we know that you know how to listen to a hard podcast. We also know that you probably know how to subscribe. So as soon as you're done with that, tell us your story. We have ways you can contact us. It involves a special link where you can leave us a message. We may have an email address for you as well in the future, and we'll let you know if that happens. The reason for subscribing? I thought you'd never ask. When you subscribe, you automatically download all future episodes of that podcast. It just happens in your player without you having to go search again. How cool is that? This means better rankings for the podcast, more attention from advertisers, and more money. And this means more and better stuff for you. So your motivation is simple and easy. Subscribe today. today, whatever app and from whatever place you like. And don't just try subscribe. There is no try. There is only do. We're changing the way we look at things, and remember, that's good. Eso es buenísimo. Also remember, this is financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. Coaching happiness. Our call to action is right in the show notes. Find it, and you win too. Can I simple that? Por supuesto. Of course. Just simple it.
Please make sure your seatbelts are fastened and your tray tables are in their upright position.
And make sure simple is a verb like Google is a verb.
我们回来了. That's we are back.
Before we go today, let's have a quick thank you to all our emotional support voices.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
And to begin our backness this week, in Act 3 we, Dalek, we... just in time to take accurate thinking and imagination and force them to cooperate instead of letting one dominate and wreck your financial decisions.
I feel like my imagination has been the loud friend making bold promises while my logic sits quietly in the corner shaking its head.
That's a perfect description, DT. The goal now is to give logic a microphone while imagination becomes the creative engine that feeds it better ideas.
Oh, okay. Imagination still gets invited to the party though, right? It's just no longer to run the entire event without supervision.
That's right, DT. Lateral thinking enters when you stop asking the obvious questions, like what should I buy, and start asking what other paths create value here.
Lateral thinking is used.
Oh, that's interesting. You know, my usual path is buy first and understand later, which has not produced the results I was hoping for.
And that's why we're flipping the process, because understanding first saves you from learning expensive lessons the hard way.
I've taken many expensive lessons, and I admit I would prefer a discount version going forward.
Which is what we're going to get you. You know that sound? That's your new internal checkpoint, reminding you to pause before acting on excitement alone.
I do not enjoy being interrupted when I'm about to make a questionable decision, but I see how it could be helpful.
Here's the actionable tip for today.
I want you to actually try this instead of overthinking it into oblivion.
I am already preparing to overthink it. That is my natural response to anything that might improve my life.
Which is something we all struggle with sometimes. You know, for every new investment idea, write one imaginative upside scenario and then list 3 factual risks before you spend a single dollar.
3 risks feels aggressive. I usually stop at 0 and go straight to imagining how great everything will be.
Which sounds like most people. But there's another way. Just decide if you spent little enough before today to get something today. That's the imbalance we're correcting, because imagination highlights opportunity while accurate thinking protects your downside. Make a game out of it. Set up rewards for yourself. That's the imbalance we're correcting. Imagination highlights opportunity while accurate thinking protects your downside.
I'm reluctantly admitting that I have not been protecting my downside, which explains a few uncomfortable memories.
So instead, you do some scritching. Hear that sound? That's you actually writing things down instead of trusting your memory. Because that can tend to forget inconvenient facts when excitement shows up. I know how that works.
My memory has a very positive bias toward ideas I like, and a very negative bias toward warnings.
This is not ideal.
Not to worry, we'll make it good. Lateral thinking also means exploring alternatives like partnerships, services, or partial ownership instead of defaulting to all-in decisions.
So instead of buying something outright, I could participate in a smaller way and test it before committing fully.
Right, or if the situation was right, you could stop looking at prices and buy the whole store. Somebody else did. It's all in your attitude. Use the flexibility and reduce risk while still allowing you to learn and participate.
I like that flexibility, because my previous approach felt like jumping into a pool without checking if there was water.
Ouch, that would hurt. So it's a good thing that your thinking process is evolving, where creativity and caution start working together instead of fighting for control.
I can feel that happening, and it is both uncomfortable and reassuring, which is a very strange combination of emotions.
And this is a shift, DT, but you can still feel grounded and not overwhelmed. Hey, Alice, capture what we're doing here in one simple line so that even DT can accept it without resistance.
Right. This'll do it. Financial life coaching from a happiness perspective.
Even that sounds calm and balanced. While I'm over here realizing I might actually have a better system than guessing and hoping.
That's the feeling of clarity replacing chaos. And it usually shows up when your process starts making sense.
I started defensive and slightly annoyed, but now I'm cautiously optimistic, which is not a feeling I'm used to. But I sure don't hate it.
That's good, and that shift matters because it means you're beginning to trust a process instead of chasing random outcomes.
I'm not fully convinced yet, but I'm willing to test this approach, which is more than I would have said at the beginning. And I've changed, as will you, since...
You have been listening to Simple Success with John Brandy.
Which is how you've all gotten good.
Gracias por escuchar.
Salut. À la prochaine.
No robots were harmed in the making of this podcast.
No dogs were shot either.
This podcast and our other podcast are productions of Little Red Hen Industries.
Part of the Sonic Boom Network, where we do the hard work for you.
And Rishi helps our hen bake the bread by giving credit to these great people.
Techno King, John C. Brandy.
That's me.
Alter Ego, Doubting Thomas.
And that's me.
Fact Checker, Napoleon Bonaparte. Social Manager, Abraham Lincoln. Always on the internet's inner tubes whatever. Media Expert, Augustus Caesar. Psychologist, William James. Sound Designer, Les Paul.
Thank you for inventing multitrack.
Language Consultant, Leah, the French do-your-own research lady.
Cough, cough, cough.
Videographer, Ertaman Koshki.
Lights, camera, action.
Inspiration, many podcasts and other sources and of course Napoleon Hill. Additional inspiration and thanks go to Steve Jobs, Joseph Allen, Charles Darwin, Leonardo da Vinci, Henry David Thoreau, Abigail Adams, Jonathan Livingstone Seagull and the Stick Figure.
Quick disclaimer here. Many sentences contained in our podcasts are of a very dangerous length and were performed by highly trained vocal practitioners. On no account should inexperienced life forms attempt to imitate them without proper medical, jaw, and lung supervision.
And before we forget, you can also subscribe to both podcasts, join the community, and benefit from many of our techniques, including financial advice, patience, practice, and even podcast production for your ideas. Of course, you'll have to head to the show notes, either on your phone or on the web, to get the links and stuff, and all those clickable links are in the show notes. Hey, Emma, do you, Samantha, and Daniel want to tell us a bit more about this stuff?
Sure. The artificial intelligence or AI voices that you hear in our work are offered up by Google, Amazon Polly, OpenAI and ElevenLabs. They don't sponsor us yet, but we love what they do and we just love what AI can do when lovingly crafted.
Finally, you can find us through our network. We happily consider guests and consider guesting on other people's shows.
That sounds like a really old school computer voice. I'll call it Zarvox. It's definitely not Samantha, or any other modern AI.
Yeah, thanks for noticing.
And really finally, our music comes from Cube by Ben Sound and from Piano Background by Nick Simon Adams. Thanks also to AI MuseNet, Suno, Audio, ElevenLabs, and Ace Studios. The sound effect credits go to Jackson Academy Ashmore, Canoe CG, Dr. Jekyll, Joe Payne, Everything Sounds, MK Play More Stories, ERH, Sand Emotions, Big Pickle 51, and Just Kidding. Yes, that's his or her name. All on free sound. Also, languages are the bomb.
Let me be clear. This is the best podcast ever.